Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do another language book series. I will link my colloquial video in the iCards or in the description box down below. Where I talk about colloquial Lithuanian and colloquial Vietnamese. Um, I did that video about summer fall-ish area. I think I did it in summer, I think, but somewhere around there. But today we're going to be doing the Living Language Spoken World series, which I do have Japanese living language books, but this is specifically talking about the Spoken World series. So, languages I have are Portuguese, Arabic, German, Russian, Italian, and Spanish. Only one book I have not read yet, but I am reading that in the near future, and that's the Advanced Spanish. But I've read at least 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters in each. So I have at least an idea of what the book is like, and I've skimmed through the books and stuff, so I have an idea of what each individual thing is like. So now I'm going to be sharing each individual book with you in order from what I have them in. I have the most different books first, and then the books that are very similar to each other after. So we're going to start off with the first one. This one is Brazilian Portuguese. I think this is an older version. Because the newer version has a football player. But this has a picture of Rio, which is a city in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. Um, and talks about like 40 lessons and stuff. And I like how this book breaks things down. So I will go through the first unit. Um, so they would give like a word list and then start going like over grammar and whatnot. And at one point, they have also like conversation practice like over here. Which honestly, they moved the conversation practice instead of having it at the beginning, like towards the end of each unit, which I kind of like, and I like how they do break it down between lessons, like a couple lessons per unit, which is actually pretty good, and so you can get small bits and pieces of the language. For this book, I would so far, um, I would actually give this a solid like 8 out of 10. I really like this resource, and it's one of the few resources I have for Brazilian Portuguese. Um, Next book is Arabic. Um, Similar to the other books in style wise with the 40 lessons, unlike the Portuguese ones, it just has the conversation at the beginning and then the grammar and everything else at the end. I'll show an example. Um, so you would have this here, and then you would have like grammar here, and then you would have vocabulary here. But you see the Arabic script here, right? If I go later in the book, all we have is Romanized script. That is one of the biggest faults of this book, is that it goes straight to Romanized. That's what I do not like about this book after a certain point. This is Ultimate Arabic Beginner to Intermediate. I want to recommend this like a 4 out of 10 because it has the Arabic dialects, but when it goes into specific dialects at points, there is no Arabic script. It's just solely Romanization. Alright. Now to the books that are like the rest. German. Highly recommend this book. I read this as a teenager. I've had this book since I was like 13, 14, 15. Since middle school, and I highly recommend this book. It's similar to the structure of the other ones. And this book really got me to understanding German in middle school, and I am rereading it for German. And when I go back to German, I will be continuing this book. This book is a 10 out of 10 for sure. Russian. This book is better than the Arabic book. For non-Roman scripted languages, I recommend Russian. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 because it goes into grammar detail. And whatnot. And it stays, like you see, like lesson 3 here. It has the Cyrillic. And then lesson 35, it still has the Cyrillic. So I recommend this book. I really enjoyed doing this when I was messing with Russian at the end of last year. And whenever I pick Russian up again, I'm definitely going to be using this book. Hands down, I enjoy this. Like, I would say this is like a solid like 9, 10 out of 10. So that's for Russian. Italian. This book is very similar to the Spanish structure-wise, similar to the others, so I'm not gonna open it. But I would give this book probably about a solid 8 out of 10. I feel like some of the grammar could be explained a tad bit better in this book since it's Italian and kind of like ish similar to Latin as far as grammar goes. So I feel like this book could have explained it a little bit better. But the basics and stuff were really explained well. I'm about halfway through this book. I'm at like lesson 21. So I'm in the intermediate section now. Until I get to like the A2 level, I'm probably not going to approach that section. But I would highly recommend this book. For any Italian learner, like I would actually beg you to pick this up because this was good. I think this is better than the Teach Yourself, and I will do a compare and contrast with the Teach Yourself later down the road. This book, Holy Grail. This is Ultimate Spanish Beginner Intermediate. I've read through this book, and I used this book a lot this summer and fall, and I'm catching up on some of the vocab stuff now. And I will say this, I highly, highly recommend this book for Spanish. Even if you're an absolute beginner. Grammar rules explained. I finished this book, and this, other than the German book, is the only book I have completely finished. And I can wholeheartedly say that this book is a 10 out of 10. Explains grammar pretty well for the most part. I've only had to ask, like, my, Latino friends, several times about grammar, but, other than that, like, it was pretty self-explanatory, and, it really what got me up to the B1 level, and I really highly recommend this book, for anybody learning Spanish. And now I have its sequel, the Advanced Spanish. I would only recommend you read this book if you are at a level B2. And at the time of filming this video, I just leveled myself up to a B2, so I will be reading this very soon. Nivel B2 en español. Ahora, felicidades para mí. And this book is structured slightly differently, but in my opinion, there's a lot of reading and stuff, but in more like specifics and everything. I think that's the only difference. I feel like it's like a textbook and reference guide. It has less lessons. It has 20 lecciones versus 40 in like this one. Some have like 35, but most have 40. Avanzado tiene 20 lecciones. But I feel like I'm gonna like this book for the most part, and I'm gonna do a thorough individual review on this in Spanish once I finish this book, which probably won't be till the end of quarter 2 or early quarter 3. So I can't really rate this one, but I have a good feeling that this one and this one are going to go really, really well together. And there was a mixture of Spaniard Spanish and Latin American Spanish in this one, so I'm going to assume that's the same with this one. I wish they had the Guinea de Equatorial um dialect, or the Equatorial Guinean dialect, in here as well to be a little bit more inclusive, but they don't. It's not. I guess Equatorial Guinea doesn't have a lot of tourists. I don't know. But also probably because of racism too, which is sad because I would like to learn more of the Equatorial Guinean dialect as well because I'm really interested. So I'm like kind of frustrated that that's not in here. But for the most part, these books are pretty good, especially if you learn Latin American Spanish or Castilian Spanish. Um, so yeah, that's the end of the video. Overall, I like Living Language as a series, and it's the most I have as far as a series for a language books than Teach Yourself. I don't have any Aussie Meal. The 2 colloquial books I mentioned in the beginning of the video, obviously, but yeah, literally, I love Living Language. I high key recommend them. I was going to get the Tagalog book, but I didn't have enough money at the time. But I do want to get my hands on the Tagalog book, and I do have the Swahili in PDF form. I have not gotten to reading it yet. But I bet it's going to be just as good, and it's going to probably excel my Swahili level by a whole lot. So the next language one I think I'm going to do is Teach Yourself because I have a little bit more access to that. And because I have some Teach Yourself books as well. But that is it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great time zone and stay safe, y'all. Bye.